Hey guys, it's Nicholas here from upgradeToLife.com and welcome to this video which is called What is Neville Goddard's technique to pray correctly? Right? What is Neville's core way to manifest? And please do not get me wrong, of course there are many different ways. There are many techniques, right? And techniques are tools to help you get and stay and shift into the state of the wish fulfilled. Right, I share many of them on my channel. There is the I remember when method that I will link above right now, and I'm sure you're familiar with this. There is like the congratulation technique that you can use. I will also link this above right now. And there is Neville's core method that he used over and over again, that he shared with his students over and over again to prove that imagining creates reality. And before I'm going to share this fundamental principle again with you, I would highly recommend you maybe pause this video first of all, and you watch the video I did a couple of time ago, which is called How to Really Pray. Because when we talk about like praying and Neville's correct way to manifest, I first of all want to, clearly explain to you what like praying for Neville meant. It was not to, go on your knees and beg an external God, an external entity, an external source, an external power, because surprise, or maybe you will realize this on your spiritual journey, there is no power outside of I am. I am is infinite, right? Your I am, nothing can outgrow your I am, right? Your awareness of being, the sense that you exist. No one that watches this video right now, that listens to my voice, that is looking at your screen right now, no one can say that I do not exist, I'm not present, I'm not aware, right? You have to be aware in order to exist. So I am comes before everything. And what praying means, right? If we do not pray to an external entity to give us something, it basically means to recognize that we are already what we want to be. So let this sink in for just 1 second, right? Instead of hoping for something, wishing for something, waiting for something, no, it is going within and actually accept, assume, realize that we are already that desired version of us, that this desired state is already available, and this is present right now, right here. So what praying does then is basically bring the desired state into the here and now through one of the techniques that you can use. I remember when, right, and which I explained in the video that I linked above, or isn't it wonderful, or you use the telephone technique, which is also a technique that I will make a video on soon, or you use the congratulation technique where you just imaginatively hear someone congratulating you and having achieved your goal. No matter what you do, all of these techniques, they all do the same thing. Don't give your power to these techniques. All of what they do is that they bring the desired state into the here and now and help you identify with this desired version of yourself that is like you want it to be, that has what you want to have. Okay, so now that we cleared this up, now that I gave you this little insight quickly, now we talked quickly about praying and that this is like the master key. Let's just talk about right now what is Neville's core technique when he speaks about the law of assumption and imagining creates reality. So really simple and really basic and really logical until this point, probably for most people, is that everything starts with desire. For desire is the mainspring of action. You must know and define your objective. So without desire, there wouldn't be any movement, right, in this world. It all starts with desire. You want to be something different. You want to have something else. You want to be somewhere else. And that is, for the whole entire humanity, right? Desire is the mainspring of action. Desire is the leading force. That is why desire is nothing bad. Desire does not equal lack. Desire is basically a pointer towards something that's already available for you that you can shift into, no matter what desire it is, right? No matter in which life area you feel this inner hunger, you feel that you have a desire for something, that's just an impulse from this true self, from your higher self that is already experiencing that wants to experience that through you. And you can then decide, okay, do you want to allow this desire? Do you want to accept this, right? Do you want to assume it or ignore it, which is useless, right? If you really want this, then why would you ignore it? Why would you not accept this gift that has been made to you, right? And the desire itself is already the solution. Shifting into the end state, the state already carries all the means to express itself with it. You don't have to work out any ways. You should let the state lead. And I will also link a video on this above right now. So we discovered so far And everything starts with a desire. If you have a desire, that is nothing bad, that is perfect, that is great, that is showing you what is already available in the infinite creation and what waits for you to be occupied by you, to be shifted into by you through your awareness. So now you know what you want. You define your objective, this is who I want to be, this is what I want to have, and do that, right? Don't wait for any savior. There is no savior on the outside coming to save you. You have to decide who you want to be. You have to decide what you want to have. So do that first. Then let's talk about the second step, right? Then when you know what you want, right, you condense it into a sensation, into an action, into a little simple act which implies fulfillment. Okay? I will just in a second explain why we don't want to imagine the desire itself, but something that implies we already achieved it. So when your desire is clearly defined, when you know what you want and you clearly define it, then you immobilize your physical body, meaning you sit on a chair, you lay on your bed, and then you experience, not think of, not affirm, no, you imaginatively experience in your imagination the action which implies its fulfillment, which implies the fulfillment of your desire, right? Repeat this act over and over again until it has the vividness and feeling of reality. Okay, so now let's talk about why is Neville saying here that we should find something that implies fulfillment. So here's the thing, I will, take the money example again. Let's say you want to be more financially stable. You want to have more financial resources in your bank account, in your life, surrounding you, flowing to you in your life, more financial abundance. If you imagine right now that your bank account, has 2 more digits or 2 more zeros or whatever it is, then you imagine the wish itself. And most probably this will feel euphoric and great and amazing, but it can still have this impression of, oh yeah, this would be nice. You still imagine the desire itself, right? And you will always be led to think of it instead of be really identified with a wealthy person. So what should you do instead is you imagine something that implies fulfillment, something that implies you're more financially stable, such as, paying, not worrying about what amount is on the checkout, or you purchasing an item imaginatively that you could only purchase when you were financially stable, that you ever wanted but cannot afford right now, or you letting friends speak about you using the eavesdropping technique, which is also a really powerful technique that you can use. You will find it on my channel, where you overhear people in your imagination speak about you, like you overhear imaginatively 2 friends speak about you, like, oh, like have you heard how well Nicholas is doing actually with his business? Oh yeah, I heard this. Like, do you know that he makes X, Y, and Z per month? You could overhear these people speak about you, which implies you're financially stable. So it's not the moment where the money comes in. It's not the moment where the bank account grows. No, it's something implying that you are naturally a wealthy and financially successful person, right? Or congratulations from your friends and family members, whatever it is. So choose something after the wish has already happened. And an easy way to do that is by you choosing your day after. You assume that right now the manifestation happened, and you ask yourself, what would be different tomorrow? What would be different in a week from now? What would I do differently in my day-to-day experience if I were now the person that I want to be, right? And now that we have found such a sensation, right, you really have to ask yourself. I can't, tell you that exactly because you have your individual own life experience. You have to ask yourself what implies that your desire is fulfilled. Just ask yourself right now, if it would be fulfilled in this moment, then what would be different tomorrow? And you can use that to, let imaginal scenes come up. And then you pick a scene that feels normal, that feels natural, where you say, yes, this would imply for me personally that I have achieved my goal. Whether this is touching something, speaking with someone on the phone, having someone, pat you on the shoulder, whatever it is, you doing a certain action, that is your act that implies that you're now the person that you want to be. It's quite easy until now, I think, for most people, right? You know what you want, and you come up with a thing that implies you have it. And then when you have that, right, then you lay down, you want to basically bring the body into a relaxed state where the mind doesn't wander off into millions of directions, into thinking about this, going into that state, and worrying about this and imagining this, where the mind is just calm, right? This is what Neville called a state akin to sleep, where it's really easy to put your attention on something without the mind wandering. And when you are in that state, right, when you immobilize your physical body, then really gently, really kindly, you devote yourself imaginatively to that act. What does that mean? That means that literally you close your eyes. But this is the easiest way. You can also do this with eyes open, but the easiest way is if you close your eyes and you inwardly experience that. Don't mix this up with visualization. You don't have to see things. You can also use your inner ear. You can use your inner sense of touching and touch a thing if that implies that you have now this car and you feel the ladder wheel or whatever it is. Or you feel the car keys of your new car in your hand, putting them on a shelf. That is just touching. You don't even have to see that. Imagination, you can use all your senses in your imagination. Seeing, aka visualizing in your imagination. You can touch, you can hear, you can taste, right? You can smell. So then when your body is relaxed, then you want to experience that in your imagination. This act that we just came up with, this little act that implies fulfillment. Just hearing the words, just putting the keys on the shelf, just doing whatever implies that you have achieved your goal. And then you're repeating this like on a loop. You're repeating this, you imagine it, and then you go back to the beginning of that act and imagine it again. And then you go back to the beginning of that act and you imagine it again until it has the vividness and feeling of reality. And then you will feel relieved. You will feel satisfied. You will automatically come out of this experience like, it's done. Like, I just experienced it. It's done. And that is the difference between thinking and thoughts and affirming and trying to convince the mind and experiencing something in your imagination. And I hope that you now get this fundamental difference, right? Because here you start to actually feel it. You will start to therefore be it and therefore embody it and therefore express it. And now repeat this condensed action in your imagination over and over again. The act is done when you completely accept it as being finished in that sleepy, drowsy state. So you just accept it as being finished. It is done. The imaginal act is the creative act. You just, experience the end in your imagination. It is done. That is it. The manifestation then will be the consequence of that wish fulfilled that you just witnessed, that you just encountered, that you just experienced internally, right? I have also a video on my channel. Just Google upgrade your life. Manifestation is consequence, or put this in YouTube, in a YouTube search. Upgrade your life. Manifestation is consequence. And there I explain that the wish fulfilled happens first within and is then mirrored back to you on the outside. So there's nothing to wait here. When you know it is done, then you stop looking for signs, you stop waiting because you just witnessed the end. It wouldn't make sense to wait. All right? So that is Neville's main way to pray. What is pray again? To realize and, accept that this is already fulfilled, that you are the version that you want to be right now, that you basically recognize to already be what you want to be by repeating something in your imagination that implies you are it. Hearing a friend's voice, hearing a family voice, having a phone conversation with your tax consultant confirming that your business is doing great. If you experience that and hear that again and again and again, at some point, it's done. And you just know you are this. And then you will be moved across this bridge of incidents, leading you to the fulfillment of that desire. So these are the three main steps, right? It all starts with a desire, to conclude it right now. So everything starts with a desire. You know what this is, feel into it, define what you want, right? You must know it and say, yeah, this is what I want, right? Make that decision. Yep, this is what I want. This is who I want to be. I am right now this. But that's not always enough for most people, because the missing component is still the deep inner conviction that they are in this state. So therefore, we find a little sensation which implies this, what would imply that this would be realized. If it would be a physical fact already in your life, if you would be it literally right now in this experience world, then what would imply that you are that? How would people see you? How would people treat you differently? What would you do differently in your day-to-day life? Right? And then you found that act. And then last step, third step, in your imagination, you close your eyes, you literally experience that. And this can take some practice, right? Of course, sometimes we're new to this and it's hard to imaginatively see something or hear something or touch something or smell something or taste something, right? But we can practice that, and really quickly this can become super easy and fun. And then you will know how to fulfill your desires. When they come up, great. You let them come in. You ask yourself what would imply it is done. You devote yourself to that experience. You experience that it is done. not think of it, not just affirm it. You can use affirmations to make it more stable, yes, but don't miss the component of actually imagining it, to really fuse with it, to like download this kind of like feeling state into you. Then you will start to embody it more and more and more. And more and more you will, less feel the need to keep imagining it, because this is already so obvious to you, right? Why would I imagine right now that I'm a YouTuber if I already know this, that I am this? Therefore, it will become natural. You will embody it. People will see you like this. You will behave like this. You will get manifestations of this new state. Okay? So imagine it again, and yeah, you will feel relieved. You will feel the satisfaction of that I just tried, right? If you really hunger for something, then the relief is to get it, like to have it right now. And your imagination enables you to experience every desire right now as being fulfilled. You can't argue with me on that, because that is the truth. You can close your eyes right now and imagine to be on the beach, to have the car, to live in your desired apartment. And not only that, but you can imagine something that implies that this already happened. So this is the summary. These are the 3 main steps. This is Neville's main way on how to pray and how to manifest desires. And if you read Neville's books, right? I know a lot of books, and most of you will read the complete reader. But in my personal opinion, you don't need all of that to know how to manifest, how to use Neville's teachings, because there's also a lot of stuff that is just unnecessary, or like you don't need to know it in order to really move forward, right? It's interesting, it's great, but this is his core teaching. His core teaching is imagining creates reality. Consciousness is the only reality. Where you are within is the only reality. The external is just the echo, the byproduct of what you have alive within you. And shifting states, right? Shifting from your current state in a new state by imagining something that implies you're in this state. And these are the 3 main steps that you can use for that. And as you see, I'm really hyped up. I'm really energetic. I'm really, empowered when I speak about this technique, because I have used this personally for so many desires, for so many goals, and it worked perfectly. It always works. And you cannot prove it wrong. You can even test it with, for example, the ladder exercise. The goal is manifest a ladder. So that's the objective, right? What would imply that you climb the ladder? You climbing it. You actually experience in your imagination that you climb the ladder, and then see what will happen in your world. I have a video on my channel also called The Ladder Experiment, and how you can prove and test your imagination. So use these 3 steps, test them, apply them, practice them, get better at them, and let me know in the comments down below, if you like these 3 steps, if you follow them, if you want to start to follow them, if you have already had results with it, definitely, share it in the comments so that other people that are maybe new to this get inspired and also start doing it. If you have questions, like I said, also leave that in the comments, and I speak to you in the next video. And if you want to learn how to shift states, if you want to master the art of going from your present circumstances, your present state, into the desired one, then check out the 2 links in the video description. One is my free masterclass. The second one is my program, where we can work together, where I can keep you accountable, so that whenever you go sideways and you have worries, you have struggles, that we can align you again, so that you manifest your desires, so that you master Neville's teachings and master the law of assumption, right? So that was Neville's main technique to pray correctly. I hope that you enjoyed the video, and I'll speak to you in the next one. Bye, guys.